It appears Republicans' plan to make mail in voting a little bit more difficult is starting to happen. Now, U.S. Postal Service workers say that mail voting sorting machines are now being taken apart and removed from distribution facilities across the United States, raising concerns about the ability to handle a surge in mail in ballots for the general election in November. So now, look, already, I don't think our system could have handled millions of mail in ballots. Now they're taking things apart to make it not able to handle mail in ballots. Not good. Now, the details, of course, from Business Insider, and they said that at least 19 mail sorting machines, which can process up to 35,000 pieces of mail per hour, have been removed with no explanation, according to postal workers. Right, and an internal letter published by the USPS in June outlines a plan to remove hundreds of mail sorting machines from operation by the end of the year. Now, why would you want to do that? I mean, it's an interesting question, right? Well, for the answer to that, you may want to ask Postmaster General Louis DeJoy, who happens to be a Donald Trump donor, a major Trump donor, by the way. And I'll give you the details on that later. But now, postal workers and elected officials have said the changes made by DeJoy dismantle the postal service and could have devastating effects in the election when many people, of course, are expected to vote by mail due to coronavirus. So, now, Kimberly Carroll, the president of the Iowa Postal Workers Union, confirmed that machines were being removed, told NPR in an interview earlier this week that DeJoy's policies were now affecting the way that we do business and not allowing us to deliver every piece every day. And so far, the Postal Service has warned a lot of 46 states, that their mail could be late. Some of the mail in ballots could not arrive on time to be counted. And they had the warning, especially for Washington and Pennsylvania, saying that, well, the deadlines for turning in these mail-in ballots are a little tight for its delivery standards. Now, wait, why can't these states just relax their standards, right? Maybe allow more of a grace period for these, these mail-in ballots due to coronavirus. Well, look, I don't know the details on whether or not they could do that. I would assume they could because it is their, own state elections. But then again, it is also the general election, so I don't know what they could do. But certainly, not a good idea, not a good thing that's happening here. It could mean that your vote doesn't count. Now, in a letter to DeJoy last week, Democratic congressional leaders Pelosi and Schumer said that the removal of mail sorting machines and other cost-cutting measures threaten the timely delivery of mail, which again, it doesn't just do mail-in ballots. People's medicine comes by mail. Checks come by mail. A lot of different things come by mail. And so, you make it so that the mail doesn't come on time, and you've got problems. You have people possibly dying or losing their homes, right? Not being able to get paid on time, which, at the very least, causes delay in paying, for example, utilities or rent, which leads to late fees, which of course harms individuals and being able to go and spend money in the markets. And so it can cause a lot of problems with late checks. I know I've experienced late checks before. And when you're poor, you depend on that check coming in time. You really do. And so, I mean, disastrous. And then, of course, you add in absentee ballots not getting there in time. Then you also just got disenfranchised. Now, in a statement to Business Insider, however, a USPS representative, Dave Partenheimer, says, oh, no, this is fine. Oh, we do this all the time. He said the reports on it being used to sabotage the election are erroneous. Quote, Postal Service routinely moves equipment around its network as necessary to match changing mail and package volumes. Package volume is up, but mail volume continues to decline. Adapting our processing infrastructure to the current volumes will ensure more efficient, cost-effective operations and better service for our customers. However, look, there's some, a little bit of truth to that, right? Sure. But here's the thing. You don't dismantle this, the ability to sort mail when you're expecting millions of additional, tens of millions of possibly, of additional ballots to be sent through the mail. I mean, it's almost just like, I guess it reminds me of like elections, right? Where there's an expected, like, there's people are expecting a larger outcome, right, than normal. And they still say, you know what we should do? Oh, we're expecting a larger outcome of people coming out to vote. So let's just cut polling places. What are you doing? Well, of course, they know what they're doing. They do know what they're doing. And that means, and what they're doing is trying to disenfranchise the vote. And so there's a plan, at least according to, when you look at DeJoy and Donald Trump, and according to what I've seen, Donald Trump say himself, Trump does not like mail-in ballots, despite actually requesting an absentee ballot for him and Melania. He thinks that, no, if other people get to use it, well, that's a disadvantage to me. And look, he's right. When there are more people vote, Republicans tend to lose. That's why you have voter suppression in the first place. That's why people remove polling stations from minority neighborhoods. Why they throw out absentee ballots. Why they remove people from voter rolls, even though they've been voting in that same place or, for years. And now why they're attacking voting during a pandemic. They don't want you to vote. And of course, they justify it by saying, well, voting is just full of fraud, waste, and abuse, right? Well, okay, let's look at the amounts of voter fraud, right? Between 0.00004% to 0.0009%. That's how much voter fraud goes on in America. Out of the millions and millions of votes, very infinitesimally small numbers. Funny enough, when it comes to coronavirus, right? They're like, why should we have to wear masks and social distance? We have such a small amount, such a tiny amount of people dying from coronavirus. Did you know that the death rate or the survival rate is over 99%? Huh? Why should we wear masks? But on, on voting, like, no, can't do vote by mail. No. Look at all the fraud. Tons and tons. Such a tiny amount, but still, it's tons. Too much. We must protect our voting system. Weird how they do that. Weird. Yeah. My goodness. Let's add on to that, right? Donald Trump's voter fraud commission found zero credible evidence of widespread voter fraud. But it doesn't matter. Facts don't matter. If Trump thinks he's going to lose because of mail-in ballots, then he's going to try to destroy the ability for people to mail in ballots. And that's what they're doing, by the way. Trump openly admitted this, that this is why he's blocking funding for the post office so that they cannot do mail-in voting. Take a look.
They want $3.5 billion for the mail-in votes. Okay, universal mail-in ballots. $3.5 trillion. They want $25 billion for the post office. Now, they need that money in order to have the post office work so it can take all of these millions and millions of ballots. Now, in the meantime, they aren't getting there. By the way, those are just two items. But if they don't get those two items, that means you can't have universal mail-in voting.
It's right there. Hey, look, if you don't have the money that I'm blocking you, then I can't do mail-in voting. Well, that sucks for you guys. Look, he is interfering in an election in order to boost his chances, and he's using his lackey that he appointed to take over the post office as Postmaster General in order to do so. And look, it's been really effective. And by the way, before I get to that, right, what DeJoy has actually done at the post office, I just want to remind you that it's a 91% approval rating. It is the most popular government program ever conceived. Just think about that for a minute, okay? So now, especially when you hear these numbers or you hear this information, right? DeJoy is a major Trump donor. He has overseen sweeping changes at the USPS, slashing its budget amid the COVID-19 pandemic, and freezing hiring since he took control of the agency back in May. Postal workers told Motherboard that while it wasn't unusual for mail sorting machines to be deactivated or moved, the timing coincided with Trump's push to destabilize the USPS before the election. Carroll told Motherboard, quote, "When you take out one of the machines, it takes away our ability to respond to unforeseen things that may happen." And then, by the way, speaking of the timing, right? We have the post office now picking up mailboxes. Well, not mailboxes, but what do we call these things? Where anybody can, drop off mail collection sites. They're picking them up all over Portland and in other places, New York City as well. And so, that is rather interesting. I mean, if it wasn't for the timing, right, and the fact that Donald Trump is out there basically taking apart the postal service, well, then I wouldn't be freaking out so much about this, right? But this seems rather, rather strange. I mean, getting rid of these sorting machines and then getting rid of the drop boxes, the collection boxes, it really makes you worry that this really is an effort to destroy vote by mail.